Hello, 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 hello. As I promised you that I would continually bring you updates on the MDHS, the Mississippi Welfare Department scandal, the biggest scandal there ever was in a welfare department, using TANF funds, temporary assistance for needy families funds, to fund certain things. And so Brett Favre, he had filed a lawsuit. If you are aware of that, he filed a lawsuit dismissing the charges that he knew that the funds were coming from the MDHS TANF fund in the Welfare Department of Mississippi. Now, you know that there were other people that were charged, and the former director, his sentencing has been delayed indefinitely because the judge said it's complex. And it could be complex, even though he's already been convicted and was awaiting sentencing and was supposed to be sentenced, but now it's been delayed because there are other people that need to be charged as well. Brett Favre needs to be charged. Teddy D. BAs, the wrestler, I may not be pronouncing his name correctly, his last name. He's a wrestler, and he is the son of the $1 Million Man, aka Teddy Sr. And also, the governor, former governor Phil Bryant, needs to be charged. They were all part of this scandal. And you know, Nancy, that had the nonprofits, she took a plea deal. And some of her sons, one of her sons, I believe she has two, he paid the money back and he was charged. So there's a lot of key players that need to be charged. And so I'm glad that the Judge Faye Peterson, I am very, very glad that she denied his dismissal, because Brett knew, and there were text messages to show that he tried to cover it up. When it came down to receiving money, and that money should have never been used to fund a structure, okay? And when you are misusing tax money to fund your lifestyles or your aspirations, that's very grievous, and something should be done about it. The accountability should be made sure that it's placed back and held on the people that participated in this scandal. Now, I want you to see Brett Favre right here, and then that's probably how he's looking now, because he was acting tough with Shannon Sharpe, and he went after Shannon Sharpe. You all know about that if you've been following it. But however, Shannon Sharpe didn't make no, he didn't say anything that wasn't true. Pretty much, he told the truth. This is where it's at. And I wanted you all to see where the money went that Brett Favre used. You see where that money went? It went to fund a volleyball structure, auditorium. That's where it went. And so he's trying to say that he shouldn't be charged. He's paid the money back. But from the last that I read up, he hadn't paid the interest. But he needs to be charged. And so I'm not going to go over this whole detail with you, because I've been following this, and I have videos that are still up that you can go back and watch and stuff like that to catch up if you don't know or if you forgot about it. But I will give you some small minor details. But again, I said I just wanted to continue to bring you updates on this. Now, a Hinds County Circuit Court judge has denied Pro Football Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre's motion to dismiss the Mississippi welfare lawsuit filed against him last year. Now, I believe that he should not be able to keep his Hall of Fame. I don't think he should. I think it should be pulled. He should be pulled out of there because of what he has done. He participated in a scandal. He knew about this. He tried to cover it up in text messages. And not only that, he took money from needy families, families that needed the money, families that were going to work 2 and 3 jobs, that needed child care. And when they went to reapply or apply for it, they were told there was no money available. And that was because the money was funneled to build a volleyball auditorium, a structure, and that was one of Brett Favre's aspirations. for his daughter that was currently attending at that time. She played volleyball. So he wanted that. And instead of taking his own money and funding it, being that the many decades that he played in the NFL and made good money now, good money. What was it, 140 million or something, plus endorsements and all that? And he took money that was for needy families. And he questioned that money. So that says if you got to question something, and will they find out about it, and will it remain confidential, says that you knew about it. And you didn't want a scandal brought to your name. You want to cover this up. And so therefore, you asked those questions, and it really eventually came out. And I'm thankful that it came out. And that auditor at first tried to cover up, Phil Bryant's, activities and what he was involved in, saying that he was the one that was the whistleblower. But see, let me tell you something. There's also that deputy, Black, who was a perpetrator also, that tried to act like he wasn't by telling on Davis. See, let me tell you something. You got to follow it. Follow the money, okay? And so Black was the deputy of Davis, and so Davis was so Black was reporting it to Mr. Bryant, Phil Bryant, and he's a perpetrator in it also. And so at the end of the day, okay, when we rest and when we think about things and we come to conclusions, we want facts, right? So I've been following this to give you the information that's out there, and so Brett Favre does need to be charged. And I'm glad, again, Judge Faye Peterson, thank you. Hold these people accountable for taking money that didn't belong to them. This money is taxpayers' money that comes from other states to help carry the Mississippi state, because they are the poor state in America. And so therefore of the states that we hold here, right, in America. And so that money was supposed to help families. And Brett was supposed to give seminars or interview, whatever he was supposed to do. And it was supposed to really help people, like, elevate their lifestyle, maybe help them to learn how to become business owners, to get out of poverty, things like that. And for him to take this money and then lie about it and say that he didn't know, man, I'm not letting up. And I told you all, because I seen the text message. You all have seen them if you've been following the videos of Brett Favre and what his participation was in this with the former governor, Phil Bryant. Davis was involved. Teddy Jr. was involved. And I don't want to mess up his name again, so I'll just say Teddy Jr. And he was a former pro wrestler, he was the one that was, always having the tailgate parties and, doing it big and all that stuff. But anyway, I got a separate video for him because I just wanted to have a separate video. But anyway, this is the thing. She called Favre's arguments unpersuasive and inapplicable. That's what she did. Let me say it again. Unpersuasive and inapplicable. Because they're unpersuasive and they're not applicable. Because number one, he did know. And so obviously Brett Favre is disappointed in the court's ruling. Yeah, he's disappointed because he thought he was going to get away with it. He thought he had the complexion for the protection. He also thought because he was a former quarterback that a lot of people admired, and he got entered in the Hall of Fame. See, people think that their titles, and what they do is going to protect them and save them. But when you're doing wrong and you putting up a facade that you this honorable person with integrity, and you're doing wrong undercover and behind the scenes, don't you know that God is going to expose you? Don't you know that your success will only be temporary? I'm telling you all that when people do wrong, their success is only temporary, and they will be exposed, because God continues to expose evildoers and to take money that was legitimately sent to help a state that needed the help. There are states, but New York is one of them that helps carries other states. California is one of them. And being that we are taxpayers, we all should be grieved. We should be grieved to no end about this. And so he may be disappointed, but he needs to come clean. See, let me tell you something, Brett, just come clean, man. You know what? I did know. I questioned it. I took the money. I'm so sorry. Take the L, man, and accept your responsibility and move on. just like other people need to take the L. Hello, but they, out here doing interviews. Oh, okay, But anyway, take the L, Brett, and be accountable, Brett. Be accountable, just like you was accountable on the football field. You was accountable, Brett, and everybody was admiring you. Go, Brett. Go, Brett. But now we're going to tell you, go, Brett. Go, Brett. Go, Brett, and tell the truth. Go, Brett. We want you to go and tell the truth on the stand, Brett. We don't want you to purge yourself. We want you to go, Brett, and tell the truth, right? Just like you was on the field throwing them passes and all of that and making moves. Well, now you need to make a integrity, honest move and tell the truth, Brett, that you had something to do with it. So anyway, they're saying that, Mr. Favre he never had any control over how Mississippi spent his welfare funds. He never made any misrepresentations to anyone. No, he didn't have control over how they allocated the money, but he had control over how he spent it, because he could have sent it back. He could have said, no, I don't want nothing to do with this. Let me know where's this money coming from. So see, that's a lie right there. Let's break that down, because it says that he never had any control over how Mississippi spent his welfare funds. No, he didn't have control over the money being allocated. No, he did not. Let's be clear. But he had control over a decision to turn the money back in when he was questioning it. See, before he spent it, he should have turned it back in, because he was questioning. If you got to question where some money is coming from, then that means you shouldn't be spending it. If you got a question, is this dress appropriate for work or church or whatever? It's too short. It's a booty dress. Then you shouldn't be wearing it. See, if you got to question stuff, then you shouldn't be spending money. You shouldn't be doing those type of things. You shouldn't be cashing no checks and making no deposits if you got to question integrity of it. You see what I'm saying? So no, you didn't have control over how they spent it, but you had how they allocated it to you, but you had control over how you could give it back. See, that's a decision right there. You could have made a better decision and said no. See, you made misrepresentations. Yes, you did. See, I'm not buying this with his attorney, because he did. He said he didn't know. He said he had no idea where the money came from, but yet and still there is text messages out there that show that he knew, because he questioned it and he wanted to know if they could find out about it and if it would remain confidential where the money was coming from. So don't sit here and say you didn't make no misrepresentations to anyone. That's a lie right there. See, some of these attorneys be lying to keep their clients out of jail. That's their job to lie. That's their job, to tell untruths, to try to make it look good. But I'm not buying none of that. Your attorney or you, Mr. Favre, because you knew. And see, yeah, the state auditor acknowledged that Mr. Favre never knew welfare funds was involved in the first place. Well, that was in the beginning. The state auditor said that was in the beginning. But when the more investigation came out and the forensic got involved and they started looking more into it, they found out that Brett did know, because those text messages came out. See, those didn't come out right away. So obviously the auditor may not have known that there were some text messages that Brett Favre was involved in. So let's bring the public up to date, brother, since you want to get out here and put your little spin on things, Brett Favre's attorney. See, let's bring public up to date. Don't believe everything that these attorneys are saying, because there was a time that all of that information was not out there. And as you uncover information, you need to put it out there. It's the same thing in these corrupt wrongful conviction cases, where when you know that the evidence that you uncovered later on after a trial says that a person is innocent, then you need to make it right. Or if you know the information is out there, you should have brought it forward during the trial or before it went to trial, so people are not having wrongful convictions as well. So at the end of the day, let's bring the public up to date. Whoever your attorney is, let me see what his name is, because you know what? I forgot his name. I knew it back then, the man that's representing him, the attorney, no disrespect. But Eric Hirschman, that's who it is, okay? So he's trying to paint this picture that this and that. But you all go and look at my videos. And I did a timeline too. I did a timeline too on this. But don't go and do your research. If you don't want to go back to the videos, do the research. But don't let Brett Favre's attorney fool you into thinking that there's no additional updates and information out there, because that's how they found out that Brett did know, by those text messages. Okay, so this is not a baseless attempt to blame Brett. It's not, because there's other people been blamed. There's other people been charged. So it's not an attempt to just blame Brett. Brett was involved. He really was involved. He's not blameless. No, he's not. He's not. He should be blamed because he did do it. It ain't no blameless attempt. Come on, let's say nothing at a blameless attempt. Let me tell you something. No. He was involved. And if you guys go back and look at everything and read it, he was involved. He was involved. And so why should he get away? Why should the former governor, Phil Bryant, get away? Why? Why should Teddy get away? They all was involved. Why should Deputy Black get away? They all need to be charged. But see, they thought because even Nancy was charged. Her son was charged. See, because let me say something. Because it shouldn't be charging one person when there was other key players. One person should not be charged when there was other key players, or two people should not be charged, or maybe three when there were several key players. Everybody involved, yeah, they have due process. They have a right to do that, presumption of innocence. But when the evidence is being uncovered, and this has been going on for a while, and it may still go on, because as they uncover evidence to charge people, and I know that, oh, hallelujah, somebody. So anyway, this is not to just blame him. No, he had something to do with it. And Brett doesn't have a position to oversee welfare funds. So let's be clear on that too. We all know Brett's job wasn't to oversee no welfare funds. That was Davis' job. We know that. And the government was the overseer because he was the governor of Mississippi at that time. So don't try to play no games, Mr. Hirschman. Brett, we know darn well that Brett was not over there to see the welfare funds, oversee it. You know what? But he had a responsibility and obligation to return that money back and say no, or even not even accept it from the beginning and say no, I don't want nothing to do with it. But guess what? He played into the hands, and now he in a checkmate position, and he don't know which way to turn, and he won't help on the chessboard. No, brother, you need to come clean about what your participation was in it, because those text messages show that you did know. The text messages show. And see, you painted a picture on the football team, and that's good. People looked up to you. Young people looked up to you. Many people followed you, shook your hand, celebrated you, saluted you, patted you on the back, clapped for you, yelled for you, screamed. Some folks lost their voice in the stand, cheering you on, Brett. And they wasn't even the official cheerleader of the NFL team you played for, okay? So let me say this. You don't want your reputation blemished, but you participated in something that you allowed your reputation to be blemished. See, a lot of times it's not God that tempts us into sin, because God don't do no tempting. So it's you. A lot of times it's the people that allow themselves to be tempted, because God, let me be clear, God does not tempt anyone. He don't tempt people. You, a lot of times, as people, but will be allow yourself to be tempted. And Brett was tempted by the money because he knew it didn't have to come out his pocket, and he felt he had the governor backing him, and he felt he could use this inapplicable, unpersuasive, argument. I'm with the judge on that. Judge Peterson, Faye Peterson, Your Honor, I'm with you on that. No, you can't. I'm with you. Inapplicable, because you're new. Text messages out there, evidence is out there, and we know darn well that you don't oversee no welfare department funds. We know that Davis was overseeing it, and the governor he was the highest in the state. That stuff shouldn't have never happened to begin with. And I'm appalled that his attorney would try to say, well, we know that they trying to make him be blamed for, his responsibility of he overseeing. We know he don't oversee it. And we also know that he didn't have authority where the funds went. He wasn't the one allocating the money. We know that. But you had a choice, Brett. You had a choice to say no. But no, you just thought you was going to be protected. And I'm glad, because see, this is not right. This is not right. Stealing money. I'm just saying it's not right. And I'm going to speak on this. I'm going to speak on it. I have passion when it comes to taxpayers' money. We are paying tax money, and nobody should be misusing taxpayers' money. Period. Point blank. And when you're taking money that's been allocated to help needy families, to help them out of poverty, to help them get to work, that their children will have ample, appropriate child care. Because, Brett, you had money for any of your children. You had money to take care of your wife when she went through her procedure. No disrespect, I'm glad she healed. But you had money, and these people were struggling. And you took money out of households that could have elevated and leveled up and learned how to do things a little more different with a little extra money and support, financial support, and even resources. See, we have to teach one, reach one, and we have to help other people up. And you chose to keep those people down by taking that money, when you could have said, no, I don't want any parts of money that's supposed to help needy families. And you took that money, and then you want to play the victim. You want to play the victim. But you're not a victim, Brett. You're not a victim. And then your attorney wants to make you a victim. You're not no victim. And this is not no frivolous lawsuit. Not at all. What's frivolous about misusing government money? Just like they going after the people with the PPP loans that didn't use it appropriately. And a lot of businesses, small business that needed help, that really needed the help, legitimate help, didn't get it. Because it went to people that took that money that didn't even have legitimate business. So let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. So no, your conduct doesn't deserve no applause, because we know right from wrong. Most of us was raised knowing right from wrong. Even a baby and a dog know right from wrong. Come on now, a puppy. When you say no to a puppy, no, stop, no, they get it. They may keep doing it for a while like a baby, but when you keep doing it, they know right from wrong. Even a baby can talk in baby talk. And when you say no, they know better. Come on now, Brett, you knew right from wrong. Your conduct does not deserve applause, because since you're supposed to know right from wrong, we all know right from, you knew how to throw that ball right from wrong. You knew how to do some moves on the field and those plays right from wrong. That's how you knew how to do it, because you in the Hall of Fame. Right from wrong. You knew not to throw to the other team. Let them intercept it. That would have been wrong, right? If you had to throw the football to the other team, that would have been wrong. So you threw it to your team to have the upper hand, right? To have the advantage. So you can throw interceptions and your team can make touchdowns. You knew right from wrong, right? Let's just keep it real. So don't sit here and say that your conduct deserves applause, because we all should have some honest integrity about ourselves. So I'm not clapping for you, because you should automatically, that's just like a person that know they need to work and they can work and refuse to. And then when they get a job, people clap. Oh yeah, I work. You should be working if you want to eat. You should be working if you need to take care of yourself. So let's not sit here and be clapping for silliness. We clap when people can come forward. We clap when people can admit their mistakes. We clap when people can own up and stand corrected. We clap when people do that. We clap when people are doing the right thing. We clap and celebrate people, honorable people, for doing the right thing. So he believed a fallacy. His attorney, Mr. Herman, or whatever his name is, he believed a fallacy when he said, we believe that after the court reviews our motion, this case will be dismissed. Well, it wasn't dismissed. Judge Faye Peterson said, no, it's not. So now it's going to go to trial, and we're going to see what's going to happen here. Now, you all can go and, you can all go and you can look at the videos, or you can do your research and pull it up however you want to do it. Pull it up and, catch up on everything. And the other thing is, it shouldn't have been ever a donation to build any type of structure. That money should have been helping needy families. And I stand behind that. It should have been help. If that's where it's going, That's where it should have went. If that's where it went, into a needy family, the TANF fund, TANF, temporary assistance for needy families. That's the TANF. It should have went there. It shouldn't have went to go and donate it to a building and a structure. Because he said in the text message, let me just make that clear with you all. In the text message. Now, let me say this before I say that, then I'm done. The filings contain messages from Favre sent in 2019. A few of those texts seem to indicate that the longtime NFL quarterback understood where the funds came from. With the public perception be that I became a spokesperson for various state-funded shelters, schools, homes, etc., and was compensated with state money. Favre asked per the filing, or can we keep this confidential? See that? And another message shows that Favre asked about the brick and mortar issue. It seems that Favre understood. Let me say that again. Understood that welfare funds couldn't be dedicated to the construction of buildings. So the Judge Faye Peterson makes major decision in Brett Favre's Mississippi welfare lawsuit to not dismiss it. It was denied. So Brett, own up to your participation. We would appreciate it, Brett, if you would own up to your participation. Now, if you are found guilty in a court of law after this, I'm just gonna say, you know, good for you. But you really need to own up to everything. So with that, you all being said, let's get the conversation started, this discussion, because, you know, you guys were good at that when I did the other videos. And I would like to know what you think about all of this, you know, from what the evidence is. Are you, that's been following this, are you glad that the judge denied his dismissal lawsuit that his attorney filed on his behalf? What do you have to say about this? Let's get the conversation started, because again, this is taxpayers' money that in the TANF fund is part of the welfare department, and that money should have went to help needy families. And Brett Favre used the money willingly and knowing that the money should not have been used for a brick and mortar structure, and he used it. He allowed himself to be tempted instead of him saying, no, I don't even have any part to that. I don't want to, you know, but he didn't do that. So with that being said, you all, again, leave your respectful comments below. Let's get the discussion started, excuse me. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, you know, as you stop by this channel, and you can share the video. And, you know, let me just put out this disclaimer here, you know, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So, you know, this video also, there's a little entertainment in this video, you know, but also it's for educational purpose. It's to bring awareness to what is going on in our government system. I do videos on, you know, other things like wrongful convictions, and I share with you how many men are being wrongfully convicted. So there's a lot of different things, videos that I do, as well as my inspirational videos to people, you know, when it comes to, you know, doing Bible studies and things like that. But again, you know, go ahead and leave your comments below. And thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you all on today.